Imagining there was a tug of war going on in your school. The tug of war was between Group A and Group B students. Now, when we talk about tug of war, it's a particular game where two teams hold opposite ends of a rope and pull it together. So we look at the one who will be able to pull it faster or pull it more of it by their strength than the other people. Now, as soon as the whistle was blown, both teams pulled the rope as hard as they could. The rope got really tight and stretched a tiny bit. Now, for a moment, the rope snapped. The rope broke in half because the pull was too strong for it. Now, in this, we are bringing it to the engineering fundamentals of how this principle works. So you can see, think of it, looking at these two objects in front of you, how much load can this beam or rod take before it bends too much, breaks permanently to deformation? So you can see for the first beam, the load was applied on them. By looking at the object B, for a moment, it has been deformed. Now, this brings us to the topic of introduction of strength materials. Good morning to all of you. I'm in the person of Mr. Solomon Bright, and I'm going to take you through the strength of material 1. And at this course of this introduction, I'll let you understand the materials for which we must use to get the best components being done. Now, if you listen to the story or the example I gave, you can see that this is what engineers do anytime they are designing a component or a materials that they're going to use for their best work. So you see, when the rope got snapped, the question was it group A whose strength was harder than the group B? Or was B strength more than group B? Or the other? Now, this brings us to the main idea of picking the right materials, meaning that we are finding the perfect mix of bending and strong replacement of the rope at which it does not break. And that deals with the effort we're going to put in making the material or the component. Now, let's divert it into it. First of all, what is strength of materials? So you can see that it refers to a branch of mechanics that studies how solid objects deform and feel when forces are applied to them. So that means that it helps us to know how certain objects or components deform and feel when the force are applied to them. So all the materials being used to design certain components or used to manufacture the certain components, for example, like shafts, a beam, or the others, means that when the force that are being given or the force that are being loads upon them are more than their strength they can handle. That means they are easily to break down. So you can see that, for example, we can have um, elastic rubber or something like rubber tie. Someone can pull it for a moment, and for a time it will get turned or it will tear because the force that was applied to it was more than the strength it can bear. So the strength of materials is among the fundamental areas of engineering. So let's see this. When a force or a load is applied to a material, three things happens. So first of all, stress is being induced in it. What is the stress? So that means it's the internal force within spread over the area. So you can have a bigger force but a smaller area at which it's being occupied. So that's what we get stress from it. Then the next one is the strain. So that means it deals with the amount of deformation compared to the original size. So that means that if there are any deformation, that means there is an increase or difference of formation from the original shape at which it was given. Then lastly, we look at the material behavior, meaning that how the material behaves under that stress strain, either elastic, plastic, brittle, or ductile. So that means if it occurs under stress strain, that means we are trying to get something called modulus. I'll explain it in the next lecture. Okay, now why do we study strength of materials? First of all, it helps us to pick the right size for a steel beam in building. So that means engineers are supposed to know the right materials, right strength of the materials that they can use so that it can withstand the pressure or can withstand any force at which we the humans or cars or anything that will be induced on it can bear it without breaking easily. So that is it. So we normally use it in beam construction too as well. Then the next one is help us to check if a car axle will fail under torque. Because don't forget that in cars, we have something called the engine, which is connected to transmissions. So the transmissions can be the engine box within a car vehicle. All right. So you can see with this at this point we are having a wheel here. This is the transfer case. So from the engine to the axle. So you can see where the axle is. That's where the torque will be occurring. So you can see this red thing over here, meaning that at this point, once this one starts turning, the crankshaft starts to turn, it turns along with this long shaft over here too as well. So here will be rotary, but at this point it's linear. The pinion gear and a rack and pinion. Alright, so they will be changing, and this point, this car axle will be rotating. So that is an torque. Alright, so we need to get the strength of this shaft at which if this the car wheel up is being mounted on it will not bear much pressure. Can this shaft can withstand when going on a torque? All right. Then the next one, lastly, is the making sure a plastic bottle doesn't crack when squeezed. So that means if I want to drink water from this bottle, you see, normally when we have something like a juice or a porridge or something in this bottle or something, we can squeeze it so that we can drink all the source of liquid from it. But at this point, once you squeeze it, it won't crack. So that means that we must select the best material for this one here too as well. Now, this is what engineers use in designing anything that carries a load, anytime, every time too as well. So as an engineer, you are supposed to know the strength of every material or anything that you want to design, and make sure that any right material you select will be the best way of making any component or any shaft too as well. Now, this is our lecture note. So at this point over here, from our first lecture that I'm going to meet you, first we're going to talk about centroid and moment of inertia. So the centroid is going to help us have a perfect balance point, or to locate all the weights of the shape at a certain point too as well. Then we are going to look at moment of inertia too as well, which deals with a shape resistance to bending. So for example, it explains why a flat wooden plank bends easily when you step on it flat. But if you turn it sideways on its edge, it becomes incredibly stiff and hard to bend. So that's why normally on gutters you will see some of this wood on top of it so that we can easily work on it too as well. So we are using it how it can be resistant to bending. For our lecture 2, we're going to look at the stress. What does stress means? What does strain means also in lecture 2. For lecture 3, we're going to look at the connection between stress and strain, alright, analysis. We look at a tensile test of how component test materials like brittle or ductile. Lecture 3, we're going to talk about the mechanical properties of materials, and we look at the best method and best ways of taking the material into consideration. Then lecture 5, look at torsion. So that means torsion, we are talking about the twisting. Okay, so for example, think of gripping a wet towel and wringing it out to get the water out. So in engineering, this happens to spinning components like the drive shaft that I talked about earlier on. So we are transferring power from the engine to what? To the wheels. Then you're going to talk about the pressure vessels. These are containers built to hold liquids or gases under intense squeezing pressure without exploding. So if you go to places like the filling station, you will be seeing those big cars, okay, those tanks over there with a lot of gases or a lot of liquids in them. So that means that we must select the best material in making them. Because for instance, it can even break or it can even explode based on the liquid or the type um, of matter within it. Okay, the state of the matter is within it. It can go into any explosion or anything form. So anytime you are making something to hold liquids or gases or anything object, you're supposed to look at the strength of it very well. Then now on lecture 7, we are going to look at bending. So this happens when you apply a force to the side of an object, causing it to curve or sag. So that's bending. So it will be something like this. So this is where the sagging will be. Sometimes can happen in this form here, and we're going to look into it very well at the bending. Then lecture 8, we look at the compound stress, strain, or stresses. So that means materials really experience just one force. Okay, so this topic looks at what happens when an object is being pulled, twisted, and bent at the same time. Alright, so that's what we're going to look at it. Then our lecture 9, we are going to look at failure criteria. Okay, so that means that we are looking at the breaking point rulebook. So it consists of engineering formulas used to predict exactly when and how a material will what will give up or crack or completely break, so that engineers can design things to safely avoid it. And lastly, that is our beams. So it's a long structure piece designed to carry heavy sideways load. So think of the heavy horizontal concrete or C-bars holding up the ceiling of a house or supporting the roadway of a massive frame. This is me, and I hope to see you in various lectures. And I know that you're going to get a book, you're going to get time, patience, and go through this with me. See you soon and have a perfect day. Bye bye.